week 6 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few forwards I look to add this week. The first guy, Jared Vanderbilt of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So this year, the numbers aren't all that great, but he's getting more playing time and he's definitely producing. Is Vanderbilt on the season? 5 points a game, 6.6 boards, 1.1 assists, 1.2 steals a game, and 52% from the field. So right here, he's getting about 25-30 minutes a game here for Minnesota. He's a pretty good rebounder, is Vanderbilt. And he's a guy that's been added in 6% of fantasy leagues over the last week here. So the last few games for Vanderbilt, November 17th versus the Kings, 4.7 boards, 2 steals, a block. November 18th at the Spurs, 6 points, 12 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. November 20th versus the Grizzlies, 5 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 50% from the field. So right now, he's giving you a few categories as Vanderbilt. He's still available in 86% of fantasy leagues, and I definitely think he can help fantasy teams with him giving you 5 or 6 categories each week. So I definitely would add Vanderbilt this week. The next forward's Donnie Finney-Smith of the Dallas Mavericks. So Finney-Smith, he's been on and off throughout his career as a fantasy option with the Dallas Mavericks. On the season, 8.5 points a game, 5 boards, 1.2 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.7 threes a game, and 39% from the field. So obviously that shooting percentage is no good for Finney-Smith. But he's a guy that's going to score anywhere from 8 to 10 points a game. He's a pretty decent rebounder in my opinion. And he's almost had 2 3-pointers a game as well. So right here, the last few games for Finney-Smith. November 17th at the Suns, 9.7 boards, an assist, 3 threes. November 19th at the Suns again, 12 points, 3 boards, an assist, a steal, 3 threes, 50% from the field. And November 21st at the Clippers, 7 points, 2 boards, an assist, a steal, and a 3-pointer, but only 33% from the field. So right here, as one of the last options on your fantasy team, I think Dorian Finney-Smith's a decent add. He'll give you a few categories, and he's a guy that goes out there and he plays a decent amount of minutes, anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes a game, and he's available right now in 78% of fantasy leagues. The next forward I look to get is Cameron Johnson of the Phoenix Suns. So Cameron Johnson, he's been a pretty good young player over the last few seasons in the NBA since he's appeared here for the Phoenix Suns. On the season, 7.5 points a game, 3.4 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 1.6 threes a game. But the thing that hurts is the 37% from the field for Cam Johnson. In the last few games for him, November 17th versus the Mavs, 6.6 boards, 2 assists, 2 threes, 66% from the field. November 19th versus the Mavs, 13 points, 4 boards and assists, 3 threes, 62% from the field. And November 21st versus the Denver Nuggets, 11 points and a rebound and assist, 3 threes and 50% from the field. So right here, we know Johnson can give you a few categories, but his specialty is hitting 3-pointers, scoring a decent amount of points, and this guy can rebound as well at a decent rate. It would be nice to see his field goal go up a little more, but right now he's available in a whopping 92% of fantasy leagues, and he's definitely a forward I look to get this week. The next guy is Derrick Jones Jr. of the Chicago Bulls. So Derrick Jones Jr. is starting to play a little more with his new team here, and he's been added in 5% of fantasy leagues here, is Jones Jr. over the last couple weeks. On the season for him, 7.3 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 2% from the field. So right now, he's not doing much here for fantasy on. He's only giving you 2 or 3 categories, but he's playing 20-25 minutes a game for this Bull team. We know he's one of the more athletic players as well in the NBA, and the Bulls like the athleticism, and I think he fits in well with the nucleus over here in Chicago as well. We know Patrick Williams is out for the season, so more playing time here for Jones Jr. November 17th at Portland, 6 points, 3 boards, an assist, a steal, a block, 42% from the field. November 19th at Denver, 16 points, 8 boards, a block, 70% from the field. And November 21st versus the New York Knicks, 3 points, 5 boards, but only 25% from the field. So obviously that was a down game last night at the Knicks. But right here, he still could get you some stats. He could still score the basketball. And I think the Bulls like him. And right now he's available in 91% of fantasy leagues. In the fifth and final forward I look to get Kevin Herter of the Atlanta Hawks have Kevin Herter. We know he could score the basketball. We know he's a good three-point shooter throughout his young career so far. And on the season, 9.4 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.5 threes a game, and 46% from the field in the last few games here for Herter, though. He's had some big blow-up games. November 15th versus Orlando, 4 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 40% from the field. But November 17th versus Boston, 19 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 5 threes, 77% from the field. And November 20th versus the Hornets, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 threes, and 60% from the field. So right here, he's scoring the basketball. He's a good three-point shooter and a decent rebounder as well. So right now, he's available in 70% of fantasy leagues. And I would give Herter an ad this week. So that's always I would add here for week 6 of the fantasy basketball season.